Hey, what's up, everybody? Greg and Chris, we are back with another movie review. This time we did
Hereditary.
And that movie was something Chris has been trying to get me to watch for God knows how long. I don't remember the last time you brought it up as far as like how long ago.
So originally it was the one warring against the movie where they kill people every year. It shouldn't even be categorized as a horror film. It's like, hey, you're a poor person. We should kill you because we're rich. Like, oh, that's scary. That's not a horror film at all.
He's still upset that our first movie was the Purge review that we did.
Stupid.
But that's also
stupid
what you guys picked for us to watch. So
stupid.
They're not stupid. That's what they
You're
want
not
us
stupid.
To watch.
It is stupid.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, clarify. So anyway, so we picked Hereditary. Chris kept saying, "Oh, we gotta watch it. I've seen it 25 times." Blah 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 blah. If you haven't seen this before, you know the running joke. I love movies. He loves movies, but for some reason, even in the paranormal field, I've not seen every horror movie out there, or a lot of them. Maybe 20% of them. I don't know. So the running joke is, anytime somebody says a movie, I say, "I haven't seen it."
What you mean?
And I get laughed at. So we are now doing this portion of the series, so that way we can go back over the different horror movies and kind of review them one at a time. So we chose, again, Hereditary. I will start out with the movie was over 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there was a reason why.
Mm-hmm.
There was one of those dramatic horror movies where they decided to deadpan everything. And so I would give you my rating as far as what I think, and then we'll kind of dive into it. Maybe Chris can make me change my rating. It was a beautiful burp.
Thank you.
Give your rating, of course, which I already know. I'm sure it's a 10 out of 10 or whatever. But
8.2. It's 8.2.
8.2, okay. So I would say if we were doing that out of a 10, I would give it maybe a good, maybe like a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's better than previous.
Yeah. Now I will say
he wanted to flunk the original Shining, just so you know.
I said, go back to that movie video and watch that. I'm not getting back in that crap. Anyway, I say 6.5 because it had some good scenes in it that thankfully he didn't ruin. He ruins everything as you watch it or before you watch it.
So the first time I tried not to.
I told him this time, I said, shut up while we watch the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hint at nothing. Don't do nothing because he will go out of his way to do it.
Yeah, every 30 seconds.
So we're watching it. Now, the scene that got me the most, which I think it honestly got everybody, was the car scene, the car ride.
Really?
Well, here's the thing. In most movies, you drive down the street, you're about to run into something. How many action movies have you seen the guy fighting somebody on a train, and he's kind of leaning out the train, and he's got him by the shirt, and they're about to hit a bridge or something, and he gets pulled back in, or
right at the last second.
Comes back in.
Right at the last second, yeah.
They didn't do it this time.
No. Well, no, there's a reason why.
Last second, she basically has her head at the window, which, mind you, I will say all spoilers are going to be ruined. So if you don't want to hear about it, cut the video off.
Skip over this part.
But the girl, the daughter, the small daughter,
his sister, Peter's sister,
is basically in the back seat of the car. She's having a allergic reaction, as far as we know, to the peanuts and a chocolate cake that was at a party. He's rushing her to the hospital. She rolls down the window for fresh air, doing this number, hair flopping in the wind. He sees a deer in the middle of the road at 80 miles, 90 miles an hour, tries to turn, head smacks into a freaking pole.
Telephone pole, yeah.
And
you hear
smush off. Now, when you're watching, it's like, okay, it's every other movie, power phone pole, whatever it is. It's coming up, her head's going to go back in, or he's going to turn, or whatever. No. Head went flying off. And it's shocking because a lot of times with horror movies and stuff, they don't really go after the children.
No.
The youngest child was the one that died first.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, well, holy shit. So that got me. And then it's like, he's sitting there. He's just like...
He froze. He's trying to deal with it.
Frozen, stretched out, blah, 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 blah.
Tears well in his eyes. You see that?
Yeah, and...
I just did this to my sister. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's like he just didn't want to believe it,
Did this really happen?
I will say we'll go back kind of So the main storyline basically is the family. It's the mom, the dad, of course. It's the older brother who's probably in high school, like 15, something like that.
I'd say junior in high school. Excuse me.
The
Junior
younger,
in high school.
you good?
And she's like, sorry, ending a crazy yawn.
And the daughter's
and she's
like 8, 9, 10, something like that.
No, a year older than your son. So like 6th grade.
Oh, she
grade.
was 14. That's right. Mm-hmm. So basically,
So I want to say she was exiting middle school, going to enter high school.
yeah.
He's in his junior year of high school.
So family of 4, and what happens is in the beginning, grandma dies. Grandma is part of a secret society, right? So the mom doesn't really know all what's going on, but she had past traumas with it, and her mom was very secretive, didn't let a lot of stuff out. After the situation happens, now you already see the daughter right away has got some issues going on. You know, she's clicking her tongue left and right. She's staring off weird.
So I'll go to that real quick. So the clicking though was the film foreshadowing for what happened to her in the vehicle in the back seat.
Well, yeah. But we're trying to do the description real quick, and we'll get into that. I think he likes making the sound. So anyway, family of 4, grandma dies, secretive stuff going on, and so you kind of see the family in turmoil. So the mom is, I believe it was Toni Collette. She was the mom in Sixth Sense.
Good movie.
Which I did not put together until after we watched it.
Good movie.
The dad, which the movie he was in that I remember him from is End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, he was Satan.
Yeah, he played Satan. Satan came to Earth and was trying to make a baby. So he played Satan.
Arnold tried to blow him away with double barrel shotgun.
Yeah, it's a good movie too.
Slug shots.
And then the son was the kid from Naked Brothers Band.
Naked Brothers Band.
He's
Nickelodeon.
He's in some other stuff
Nickelodeon
too.
or Disney?
I can't remember. But anywho, so we get into it. The kid's got some issues going on. The brother's trying to just live a normal life.
I want to say
little sister's weird.
He's affected last. I could say that.
Oh no, he gets affected half of the movie. Yeah.
Well, the last half, yes.
Oh my gosh.
So everything's an outward to him before he's physically affected.
Yeah. But as we're watching the movie, of course, you're seeing stuff go on. He wants to go to a party, hang out with his friends. He's trying to get with the girl. And the mom's like, oh, take your kid's sister to a high school party. Like, honestly, that's dumb as crap anyway. Like,
but a lot of moms are like that, though. They're like, don't leave your sister out or don't leave your younger sibling out because if you're the social butterfly, you show them how to be as social as you are.
I mean, I get that. But if you know daggone well, which every parent was a kid at one point, if your kid's going to a party, it's to drink, smoke, or hang out or just be whatever. Like, why would you insist your little kid going to a party? Mind you, they were already worried about her having peanuts in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And then you don't carry an EpiPen on top of that. So that's stupid as shit.
Yeah, because if someone's got a food allergy and it's severe, it's nuts and stuff.
You have an EpiPen.
You have that on you 24/7.
Even though you bee stings, you have an EpiPen on you.
Yep.
So anyway, you have that issue where she's like, oh, go with him, blah, 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 blah. So now you're ruining his fun, which I think she did that on purpose anyway.
Yeah.
For that.
She's trying to keep him in check for the other things that happen at parties, the drinking.
Yeah. But also, you're ruining his fun, which is what she wanted to do. But you're also ruining your daughter's life because of the things she might see there or go through way too early and not understand.
Because I want to say everyone was out of her age group by 2 or 3 grades.
She was like 13 or 14.
And she didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
So.
She was, antisocial and everything. So anyway, sorry our battery died on the camera, so we got caught in the middle. Had to change it real quick. But back to the party situation, right? She was way too young being there, of course. Mom trying to ruin it. And situation happens. She eats the cake unsupervised. And they're literally like foreshadowing it. This lady is like literally shoving a pound of nuts in some kind of either chocolate cake or brownies or whatever it was.
Way too much walnuts. And mind you,
I don't know who puts that much in there.
I'm not going to eat a chocolate cake and I'm not going to eat brownies. It has to have 0 nuts. Like,
yeah, you don't want to chew something soft and then you're crunching.
You don't want that.
No.
You don't want that. I don't even want a brownie or a chocolate cake that's too crusty. It's supposed to be moist or ooey gooey.
Ooey gooey. Supposed to be ooey gooey.
Like,
so anyway, going back to it, right? She eats cake, has the allergic reaction, which it wasn't even a weird alert. Like most people like puff up and
No,
you
it
know
was like
have.
she was slowly choking.
You know what it reminded me of? It's almost like what's that crap with the lady going on right now that killed her mom, went to jail, got back out, married some guy. You know what I'm talking about? The mom made her feel like she had all these different illnesses.
Yeah, I know. I forget her name.
You know
but
what I'm
yeah,
talking about, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, it kind of was like, was she told that she had an allergic reaction, and then in her mind she got set
Develop
with
it
it?
because she's hearing it in
Yeah,
her
because
mind.
she didn't puff up like normal people
No,
do.
yeah.
Normal people
Or
are
at least
like,
her face gets red.
yeah.
So.
She was just like, my throat's closing.
Slowly choking.
Which he uses that later on in the movie, by the way. So that's what makes me think that. So, leaves the house. He's rushing to the hospital. Freaking pole comes up. Head clean off. Right? We're getting back to that. We're all caught up now. The whole situation with him driving up, getting into bed. Now, I will say, there's a couple scenes in the movie that I found, and I feel like it's because I am a dad, a parent. Like, I don't know what I would do if I went through that scenario, right? So he's in the bed, eyes open. The mom's like, all right, honey, I'll see you later. Going to work, whatever the hell she was doing. You hear, like, walking out into getting in the car. And then you're like, did this really happen? It's like, is she about to go see her daughter, like, head chopped off in the car? And then sure enough, she's, like, screaming and is, like, going through the emotions of everything. And he's just sitting there, like, catatonic. And, like, in my head, I'm like, to me, that was a chilling scene because it's like, what the hell would you do if you ran into that situation? Like, that's got to mess you up for life.
Yeah.
Like, that's got to scar you. That's got to tear you up. That's got to, like...
So if I was, like, the parent,
everything.
I would instantly deal with, like, the blame game. Like, you did it. You killed my...
Well, she did.
You know,
She acted that way.
my other offspring, you know? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's like...
forever punishment.
And then as a kid, how do you explain what happened? Like, so they didn't go into detail with that. And I will say the reason why I didn't give the movie any higher review, and I'll get into it as we go along, was, to me, it's like they try to do the deadpan stuff, and they're like, oh, the visuals will explain everything, which sometimes you could do that. But I feel like they did leave a lot of stuff out that I wish I would have had more experience with.
More clarification on.
Like, let us see him trying to explain the situation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let us see that situation between them.
That would have been the reason why the film could go on longer, you know what I mean?
Could be a little bit, yeah. But then you also get into the awkwardness between them all. You know, she runs into, which I was laughing at this. You know, she keeps telling her husband, I'm going to go watch a movie by myself. It's like, that's weird.
And it's group therapy.
And she's going to group therapy.
Why I feel like you have
with
to
it.
lie about group therapy.
Which, I mean, if you told me, hey, I'm going to go watch a movie by myself, I would be suspicious, kind of like, okay.
Or like for me, my wife knows I love movies, so no matter what it was, I'd be like, "Can I come?"
Yeah, it's like a date, you know, type thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's kind of like, all right. Now, I only say this because she said it like 4 times in the movie.
Right.
So eventually you're like, damn, how many movies are you going to go watch on your own? Like one time it's all right.
There
go
was a
enjoy
lot
your time.
that month, I guess.
Yeah. And then, you know, you're not saying the name of the movie. Anyway, whatever. But she uses that as an excuse to go to the group therapy, right? She could have just been like, hey, I'm going to group therapy because I can't deal with the shit I got going on because our kid died.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Like, don't need to lie about it, right? So anyway, she gets there. She starts having a conversation. She goes back again. This random lady approaches her.
Joanne or
Joanne.
Joni.
Yeah. And she seems like a normal person. Everything's fine, blah, 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 blah. And then all starts getting weird when she meets her at the craft store and is like, hey, I met somebody and we did a seance.
I can show you how to do it too. Want to see?
And she's like, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it.
I had a problem with my son's death, and this is how I can communicate with him.
And the grandson.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But it's like, for us, we're like, that's a no-no. That's a big no-no.
Like a seance is just an excuse to use a Ouija board or turn something into
Else doing a Ouija board.
So,
And you
she was using a candle and a glass on a table, and the circular
She created
table
it
was
as
the
a-
Ouija board itself. So,
And sidebar, so I actually had a friend of mine at work today. She was like, hey, I have an Ouija board and I wanted to make it into a table. And I said, absolutely not. Don't do that. And she said, why? And I said, well, because you may not be trying to, because she was like, I'm not going to use it. I was like, but you don't understand. You could accidentally use it. And I was like, what if your kid's playing with it, has a glass on it, starts asking questions or interpreting something and starts learning how to talk, and then next thing you know, you got a demon in the house. Like, you don't know. So she was like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and make it into a frame and put it on the wall. I was like, all right, cool, that's better. Like, don't use it. I was like, also, you can accidentally turn your own table into one, you know, if you don't know what you're doing. So anyway, lady does some kind of enchantment, right? They don't show the enchantment. They don't go over it really. They just say, hey, it's in a language I don't know. I wonder if I said it right.
Well, they later chant it out.
Suspicious.
They later chant it out anyways.
Are you talking about the prayer to... Okay. Because it made it sound like it was something else.
Same.
But anywho, she goes into it. You know, they're in the house, and she's got the hand on the glass. Oh, hey, it's going to move. Whatever, you know. And she realizes, hey, crap's happened. Her hair starts flipping in the wind.
I mean, it moves a little
Freaking
for
out.
her.
Yeah.
But then Annie, the mom of the family,
Moved a lot.
way a lot.
Yeah. Now,
So
for me, I was like, okay, well, this just took a turn. And, like, we're watching the movie. He's already seen it. I have not. And I'm sitting there like, all right, eventually this thing's got to take a turn to the paranormal. Because so far we just have a really weird kid that got her head lopped off. And a lot of family trauma and issues. When are we getting into this? And mind you, A24 films, a lot of times, are very dramatic, very deadpan. Like, I don't need to see 15 minutes of you going down one wall to get to another room. Just get to the damn room and let's go. So that's probably why the movie was so long. Anywho,
I mean, Blumhouse is like that too.
yeah. But anywho, so now we're getting back to what? The portion of, looks like the next day or next couple days. Now, this was stupid to me. She wakes up the husband. And she's like, all right, hey, come downstairs. I want you to try something. And she also gets the son. She doesn't even think. She just does it. She does the seance by herself without asking the family, hey, is this a good idea? Should we do this? Whatever. I get it. It's her daughter. But it's like, you literally go through that without even talking to anybody. Like, by the way, hey, honey, I know you just woke up and all, but I let loose a demon in the house. Hey, you want to go talk to him? You know what I mean? Like... It makes no sense. And so she brings the family down there. And they try to do their little seance bit. She's got the glass. She goes to talk to the kid. Glass is flying everywhere. Stuff's breaking. Candle flame goes off. And you're like, oh, this is getting interesting.
The experience that Peter, the older brother, goes through as it's happening. You see him look away like something's coming from off in the distance on the other side of the camera, coming towards him and the mom and the dad.
Yeah.
And they could have played more into that. They could have added a noise of something walking with footsteps or gave you a weird noise to let you know he's having goosebumps or feeling a presence by him. Because the second time it happens, you almost see like it brush his shoulder and you see a shirt move.
Well,
and they don't go deeper into that.
The whole thing with him is, and we'll get to there, but it's like, it's coming for him. Like, he's the main thing it's coming after. Which you don't notice that until kind of towards the end. So but it foreshadows the whole movie kind of thing. I wish that they would have, which I mean, he already went through a lot, but they could have gone more into him seeing his sister more, mess with him, which that would have kept her in the movie more as the actress. And, you know, he
had the same experience that mom did. He sees her in the corner of his room.
He only did that one time, though. He wakes up, sees her.
But
like, what if
that's the phenomenon behind though?
I know, but what I'm saying cinematically, what if at school he sees her? What if he's just hanging out with his friends, he sees her? What if he's driving down the street? He's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he sees her everywhere. She's popping up all the time. She's in his mind all the time.
I think the play with the build-up would be different then, though. Because they're specifically trying to place it on a specific phenomenon. So that's why, and it happens in a 3-day span where he sees her, full apparition of her in the corner of his bedroom to the right at the end of his bed. And then 3 days later, the blue orby light expanding out in class during class before the crazy part that gets me. Worse than him driving, lobbing her head off. That's the part that gets me.
I mean, the blue light was cool and all. Like, I really liked how they did that. It was something different, which in a lot of horror movies, when we watch it, it's almost like we can anticipate what's going to happen next because we've seen things like that. We've gone through things. I mean, not that exact thing that they went through, but you know, it's like you could tell certain things were going to happen before it did.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, for me, horror films, I'm always like, you know.
For me, it's always the camera angles. They foreshadow
Yeah.
something's going to happen later from the angle in which it's pointing from.
But sounds always get me, no matter what. Like, we're watching the movie, and the part where the bird hits the window, I'm literally watching the bird fly out the window. I know it's about to hit. And then I had the subwoofer on, and then I hear doof, and, like, I still jumped. Like, for some reason, audio always gets me. Even though I knew it's going to happen, I saw it coming, it still made my body flinch. And that must be ADHD or whatever. But anyway, I feel like they could have done more with seeing the sister. I felt like that inner turmoil would have messed him up more. You know what I mean? Like, the mom, and I think they did that maybe for a reason why, to, like, throw it off of him and throw it off more on the mom. Because we thought maybe the mom was going to go more through stuff. But the son was really the one that was, you know, going to get attacked and taken over.
Most of it, yeah.
The dad was just like, man, these people are crazy. I'm done with it.
It was like he didn't believe in anything.
Yeah. So getting back to kind of what was going on with the son, you know, the one weird situation getting taken over in class where he smashed his head into the
that's the
desk.
part I'm talking about.
He put his hand up like that and shit. Mm-hmm. That was kind of interesting and cool. Like, I thought that was kind of a cool scene. But for me, it's like...
See, and that's not the first time A24 did that.
Yeah.
So if you get a chance to see it, their newer film, Talk to Me, where it happens in New Zealand, and they have like this...
Which is another movie I haven't seen.
A dead... Basically, the person is now dead, but they used to be a medium or sensitive, and it's their arm encased in... clay. They don't say what the material is, but it looks like clay or like porcelain, and it's a hand like this with a bunch of different like writings on it, and some of it's like the phrases for the phenomenon, and you're supposed to hold its hand, say I don't want to give the whole film away, but you hold its hand, you say a phrase, and the premise of it is these kids are addicted to getting the feeling of when you're holding it and you say the phrase, you get possessed, and they have a time clock going on where you're not allowed to stay possessed beyond 10 minutes.
So you
and they count it out for you. Yeah. It's on Prime Video or Peacock. So it's on a streaming service right now.
I don't think there's ever going to be like a film we do where you have not seen it. So, but yeah, which I'll check that one out probably with them too. We might.
My wife made me see it, and it was really good. So,
but kind of getting back to,
I wasn't gonna look at it. I like old stuff more.
Anywho, getting back to the movie that we were doing the video for.
Sorry. What I was trying to say was the head smacking or face.
The hand,
someone getting
the
possessed.
thing in the air. Yeah.
Well, no, like someone smacking your face, that kind of thing. They did it in that and something else.
It was a cool scene though, because it was unexpected, and the way they did the visual with his eye all messed up and stuff, it looked like her when she was having the throat issue. Mm-hmm. He acted really good in it too. All the actors did pretty well. You know, like, but the whole situation where the kid came back in the house and was drawing, and you know, he's got a notebook here so you can kind of do the visual, but it's like a piece of paper keeps flying and like
someone constantly changing the page.
Yeah, the demon's like basically coloring in it, right?
And the mom's assuming though it's her
kid.
daughter, not anything else.
Yeah, but eventually she's like, okay, this is weird. Why is it the same thing? You know. Excuse me, but when she throws it in the fire, something told me, I was like, that's gonna retaliate against her, and she's gonna go on fire.
Sure enough, it goes
her arm goes on fire, and I'm like, saw that coming. Now, the one I didn't see coming was when she's like going up in the attic. Now, mind you, they're like, what's that smell? A couple times before they even go in the attic.
Yeah, the dad smells it first,
Yeah.
and then it goes 2 or 3 days later, and no one smells it at all.
Grandma's in the attic, the body, with no head and black skin.
Mm-hmm. Well, because it was in the ground the longest compared to anybody.
Rotted off, you know. So that was weird. They don't explain how it got there. They don't tell you how it got there. And she's like trying to explain to him, like, oh my God, my buddy up there, this is going on, that's going on, help me out, please.
It's been her doing it.
Yeah.
Because the bodies up there were the grandmothers and her daughters. So the dad instantly assumes
Well, the daughter wasn't up there. It was just the grandma.
No, the body was up there too. 2 bodies.
No. The head was in the tree fort outside at the end of the movie. But the daughter's body was not up there. The only part of which I was going to get into that was the daughter's head at the end of the movie on the sculpture.
Oh shoot, yeah, you're right.
So the grandma's up there.
The sculpture looks like the little figurines, the daughter in the beginning of the film trying to make. I thought
that was a cool piece. You know, it's still really weird, creepy. But anyway, you know, she's my mom's up there, going off, and he's like, all right, this bitch is crazy. And so he's like, I'm not doing this anymore with you. You've gone too far. Blah 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 blah.
Well, that's another thing. The film doesn't go deep into it. Is the father is a psychiatrist, so that's probably why he had a deep belief in these things aren't real.
Yeah, they could have thrown a couple scenes in there of him talking to somebody that was wacko or whatever.
The biggest part was during the seance. He kept saying like, "Come on, Annie, this isn't real. Let's stop this."
Yeah, he wanted to stop it.
And then he was trying to protect Peter, the son, by having her stop that so it wouldn't emotionally affect him anymore. Because you could see with the son, it was affecting him right away.
But anyway, so throwing the book in the fire, what I didn't see coming was that when she threw it in there, he instantly erupts in flames and apparently has now died. So it's like, all right, well...
Oh, that's the other body upstairs. Okay.
No, that was downstairs. He died by the fireplace.
Yeah, but you see a second body next to the grandma. And it looks sooty, black, gray.
No, because remember when they go up there, the body's gone all of a sudden when he goes in there? There was no second body.
I almost feel like I saw an unextended version, unedited.
There was...
Because the one that I saw,
there was
showcases...
naked people up there.
The one that I saw showcases the mom being more possessed. There was a good 12 more minutes of her crawling on the ceiling, showing her being possessed, coming in and out of the attic to show that she was possessed, too. And they only give you a couple minutes of that in the one that we watched.
So you must have seen something totally different.
I want to say there's a director's cut, and I saw it.
Or maybe you've seen so many horror movies, they're all blending together now.
No.
That could be that, too.
No.
But the thing I didn't see, and I'll get back to it, is he gets set on fire. Mm-hmm. He dies. But as soon as he sets on fire, her face goes... So it's like she gets taken over instantly. Which was weird. Like, why would that happen as soon as he gets caught on fire? Is it because she hits such an emotional stress level that her final wall is, broken down for it to get...
So you're hitting on part of it. The first part is, her personality and emotions get broken instantly. That's one. And then two, technically, it would be, the sacrifice needed for the next step.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, the main... part of the film is it's called Hereditary because what they don't play on much was the grandmother who dies has dementia and DID, something personality disorder, dissociative disorder, and the mother is already getting the same traits as well, where her personality is, what did I just say? Whatever I just said. DID.
I guess
disassociated something disorder. Identity disorder. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Disassociated identity disorder. There you go.
Yeah. Did.
And that's the hereditary part, because she was also saying her brother and that would be her nephew. They both killed themselves, and that was talked about during the part where they're describing how she was in hospice. The hospice was at their house in the family's home with them, and she dies right after hospice. So she was in hospice in their home with them because she was getting worse stages of this dementia.
Yeah, and for me, it's the word hereditary is... somebody has diabetes in the family, then the next generation has diabetes. Next, sometimes that's hereditary, or somebody who suffers from migraines or, just the cancer or whatever. Sometimes, for me, that's hereditary, goes down the line, which some of those things, yeah. But I was thinking more hereditary, when I was watching the movie, was when you learn about grandma, that maybe she had some wacko crap going on to where she was seeing spirits, not trying to conjure them. The whole reason why this crap was happening was because she created a society of the 13 chapters of Solomon and was trying to get the demon Pyman or whatever his name is to
you got it,
eventually get a body. So it's it's not really hereditary. That's just somebody being crazy. like Hereditary would have been more to me like,
And that's probably one of the evilest things to do, right? Is so the number one thing demons have against us, the living, the humans, is the fact that we have these vessels we walk in, and
yeah,
they don't. Especially like there's specific demons that have originally always been on the other side and never was a living thing before that. They had always been a demon.
yeah.
So they're like the number one thing jealous of us. And you have this grandmother making a cult about, hey, let's get our favorite demon, get him in a body. Let's see what he's like in real life. Let's share a cheeseburger with him.
I never got the sidebar. I never got that note of it. It's like you watch these movies where you have cults that are like, hey, let's go ahead and conjure something, and whatever. We don't know legit what's going to happen, but hey, let's just get it here and see what happens. And then it gets there and it creates havoc and it kills every single person that ever got it there. And it's like, if you have heard stories of that or seen movies of that or this, that, or the third, like, why would you go and do that yourself?
Well, I mean, so a similar phenomenon based on that, that's a good one for you to see, is Johnny Depp's The Ninth Gate. They go into the satanic part of it where there's an obsession to find this original satanic sign Bible, and they go through and find the 3 original through
I think
publishing.
I own that movie,
And
but I've never seen it.
to connect the signs together to open up the gate to meet Satan, you have to have all 3 books and compare the pictures out of the 3 books, and you're supposed to decode those symbols. And it leads into the same situation. Someone's obsession over something, they want the power of this evil thing, and to them, they're so obsessed with it. It's not evil, it's just me opening up a doorway to get forever power.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like if you know they're evil, you know they're not going to give you their power. You know they're just going to use you to kill you off to get.
He didn't know it. This guy was so obsessed in the film. I don't want to give it all away. He's like willing to douse himself in gasoline and light himself on fire as the sacrifice for like the key to unlock the gateway.
Yeah.
On top of being like a billionaire in the film, because supposedly these 3 books are like one of 9 books that are worth the most. And Johnny Depp's character is like this guy that will buy and resell books for millionaires. And each book was like $1.5 million.
So he's like a collector getter.
Yeah.
Kind of ordeal.
And he goes to places in London that would remind you of black books.
Well, so.
Sorry to get off topic.
Which it happens with us. So Hereditary, getting back to, I guess, the portion in like the attic or whatever. Like
The twist at the end.
Yeah, it's like the kid wakes up and comes downstairs. He sees, his, or actually no, he was sleeping. And you see the mom hanging up in the corner. For me, that's like, that's normal behavior for something like this. People crawl on the walls. They, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah, they're Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Spider-Man
all of a sudden you're possessed and now you're Spider-Man. So anyway, the mom's crawling on the wall. Now the funny thing I laughed at was like the scene changes or whatever as far as like the view of him in the bed, and like he kind of turns his head and she just like crawls off the wall but like floats to the door. And I was like, well, that's new.
Great transition.
Like she just
Saves time.
floats off, and I was kind of like, huh. So it comes downstairs.
She did this Superman descend.
Yeah, like in slow motion too. On top of that, so, with no sound. So he sees the dad. The mom's up on the roof behind him, just And I was like, okay, eventually she's gonna drop, come crawling at him, flying at him, something like it's gonna happen. And sure enough, he turned camera angle. She's on the ground and running after him. Something tells him to go in the attic. He does. Now, the beating on the attic, he's like, hey, stop, Mom.
Yeah, her head, yeah.
I didn't know it was her head. So that was a cool scene.
Yeah,
like, I thought it was
like
going to
her
be
forehead, yeah.
like her punching or maybe trying to get in. She's just straight headbutting it. Like,
And that's so the funny thing about that is that's a crazy disorder some kids or infants have from like infancy until 3 or 4 years old. And what was freaky for me seeing that for like basically like the first time I saw the film, that made it freaky to me because I had a cousin that would do that. My mom's sister.
Headbutt the wall?
Yeah, anything. Up until he was 3.
Anything?
Like when you would see him in his crib, it would be the side of the crib and he'd just be like douche, douche.
That fast though.
Not that fast, but like it.
I mean,
her fast was like the possessed fast.
That was like a drummer just, you know.
You know, like the bass pedal on a drum.
But see, I didn't. Even though that was happening, and I didn't see the head hitting the attic, seeing that part, I still wasn't like freaked out. I was just kind of like I knew like this kind of stuff was gonna happen. Now all of a sudden, these creepy naked people being in the attic,
the oldest people,
all of a sudden
had to be naked.
Like just sitting there chilling. It's like, when did y'all get in there?
And some of them were sitting, some of them were kneeling with their faces down. I mean, the camera angle leading up from the end of the driveway coming up. It was like people standing in the forest, but staring at the camera, just like this.
Yeah.
And naked.
My question was like, how many of them were there? How did they get there? It's why do you have to be naked? It's like, if they're normal humans that are into weird stuff, it's like, how are they just teleporting to different spots? Now, there's a cabin, or not a cabin, there's a tree fort
the tree
that's up there, right? And throughout the movie, it's like the daughter was always in there. After she died, the mom stayed in there. So it was always kind of like a constant shot of you seeing the light in there and stuff like that. So, mind you, he's in the attic. He sees the people. He's getting freaked out. You know, like he doesn't know what's happening. And he just runs out the window and lands on the ground. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He gets up after like a blue light lands on his body. And he starts...
The same blue light from school.
Doing the click and all that crap, right? And then he looks up at the tree fort, and all of a sudden, that's what it was. I'm sorry. The attic. All of a sudden, his mom is now in there, the possessed mom.
Mm-hmm. With no head.
No. Floating, stabbing herself in the neck with the scissors.
To get her head off.
She's like, dit, and then starts going off, and then the head comes off.
While that weird music in the background is slowly ramping up and getting louder too.
So that's why he runs. That's why he runs out the window. So me seeing that, I was like, runs out the window, hits the ground, and you're like, oh, maybe it's all over. He's getting out of there. Little orb hits him. He looks up. Now his headless mom is like again floating, and then goes up to the tree fort. Right. He ventures in there. Now there's a bunch of people kneeling down. His grandmother's body's now in there. How did that get in there? No head.
It's perfectly kneeling.
The mom's kneeling.
And they're all... So if they had heads at this point, they're facing his feet.
And all these naked people are in there kneeling.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the friend that was there...
Joni.
Stuff, right?
Joni says that prayer thing.
She starts saying the prayer. And when he looks up, he sees this, like, golden statue situation.
And it's his sister's head on the statue. His sister's head
on there. Now, that was weird. They say this prayer. For me, it's like, I don't know if I really want to hear it in real life because, you know, I don't want anything in the house that doesn't need to be there. So that was probably, honestly, the only time I was really like...
A part of the prayer, it sounds like one of the base Wiccan.
Yeah. Because, you know, you don't want to invite anything in that you don't want to.
Yeah.
So, like, hearing it, you're like kind of like,
She says it finishes. Mm-hmm. She takes the crown off of sister's head on statue, puts it on him.
And it looks like the Burger King, you know, crown.
Yeah. Same shape almost.
And then
copperish gold.
And then the movie ends after that.
Yeah.
Right.
With that weird music that gets me. That if you had a problem with noises, this one like the in my ear, I'm wanting to go like this while watching it. Like.
Mm-hmm. Now, for me, it's like that movie. What I couldn't stand or was kind of annoyed with.
I feel like you didn't like the twist.
No, it's not that. It's like the movie was like, oh, the visuals will explain everything. It didn't. Why are we not going more into the society? Why are we not showing are we not showing flashbacks of grandma alive?
Grandma doing something successfully?
People, like when they showed the image of her hanging out with everybody. Why are we not doing a flashback scene of her hanging out with everybody? Party going on, she's talking to certain people, maybe she's explaining or creating the society, you learn about it. Give us, in the middle they could have done a flashback, give us more of an introduction to it and stuff, so when we go back to the family, you really understand the turmoil that they're going through, and it's like, these people really don't know what they're about to have happen.
No, I mean, I'll agree with you on that.
But the viewers do.
The part that you were talking about that the film wanted to focus on, that they could have focused more on too, was like, why was the mom, Annie, obsessed with like as a job? I didn't know it was an official job, but art gallery place paying her to make miniatures based on a story, and the story was her own life, which is like, to me, I would be like, I wouldn't be doing that. These things that I'm making a miniature scene of is very private. And like the only real freaky thing that was an interaction that would have been the interaction between Annie, her mother, the grandmother, and I would assume the baby daughter, because Peter would be a little bit older than this, but it's a baby. And it looks like they're both trying to breastfeed the baby, but it was through the miniature dolls in a miniature mock-up of the bedroom.
That was weird as crap. I totally forgot about that until you just now said it.
Yeah.
Like, that was...
That's the
weird.
part that I didn't get.
Like, so what I thought was going to happen was, like, the miniature scenes... Like, some of the movies have done that. I can't, like, name off one, but it was like the camera panned in on different rooms of the house in the situations or scenes were about to happen or happening already. Mm-hmm. And it was like a foreshadow in the movie. So I thought that's what was going to happen with all the minifigurines and stuff. But it kept being like weird imagery of like her mom throughout. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, if that's y'all's way of explaining the weird demented stuff your mom was doing, like that's not enough.
No, at all. Because you're just left guessing.
Because
you're trying to translate a silent portion that doesn't move, mind you. It's stationary.
Yeah. Like, okay, we got demented grandma. I want to know about when she was alive and well, creating a weird society. Why did she want to do it?
And she's slowly developing dementia.
Her family. Why is she with these? How does she get these people? Like, I wanted questions and answers of all that because that would have been the meat of the movie. Like, cool, family's getting tormented, cool cinematics, but it's like, why? And when a movie does that and leaves out the why, it kind of ruins the rest of the cinematics because it's like, so I just spent 2.5 hours watching a very deadpan cinematic movie torturing somebody. Like cool.
I mean, I'll be honest though, my ADHD was like, it pans into the son's bedroom at nighttime. Dad's trying to get him to go to bed even though he's in high school. He's in the middle of just playing a tune on his acoustic guitar. The camera pans out on the end of his bed, the end of his feet, and then off to the right corner you see a big ass electric keyboard. I was like, hey man, let me see more of him playing the guitar, more of him playing the keyboard for no reason.
Well, yeah.
Or maybe an interaction with his grandmother when he's younger and he's like, playing the keyboard with the grandmother, and the grandmother's like, play this tune, and it was the tune they played the whole time at the end as it got louder.
Something that connects more.
Yeah.
That's another thing too, is like, how come the daughter is possessed or partially possessed? Did the grandma whisper something in her ear? Like, or like a phrase or something?
Her obsession with making the dolls. Show us why she got into that artsy craftsy.
I get the mini figurine situation, like she wanted to do somewhat of what her mom was doing, but it's like you took a dead bird's head
and put it on the wooden figurine body.
Like, was that foreshadowing her head coming off? Was that foreshadowing her head being on a sculpture at the end of the movie? Like that,
yeah, I mean the camera did pan in, and then go to the next scene. So maybe that.
Honestly, I wanted to see more of Weirdo Joan.
Yeah, Joni. Yeah, me too.
Because her apartment had all that crap in it. What did the triangle mean with the picture in it?
Oh,
because the triangle was in the grandma's room. What did that mean?
Well, the connection they showed too in the box was like the grandma had a weird thing with knitting these mats that you put in front of your door, and that's how Annie, the daughter of the grandmother,
made that connection.
Figured, oh my God, my mom. They're in the same cult.
Yeah, a day late after you just got half your murdered, your family murdered.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
And I feel like, too, so like the blue little light thing, they could have used that more. They didn't use it on the mom. They could have.
I mean, maybe, I don't know. I think they used it enough to where we were introduced and we knew what it was. So, like, that was cool. Like, when you see it pop up, you kind of know more what it is.
Yeah.
It didn't happen, like, just one time. But, okay, so another side note, right? We're dealing with the Solomon 13 chapters.
Yeah.
Right? So this is based off of what? The Tower of Babel and
how Solomon basically magically built each level of the Tower of Babel, how each prayer would seal each different thing because each level did something. Each one was sealed with a demon in each level. And then the excuse as to why each one had to contain each demon for what purpose. I forget.
But here's my
Bible
thing.
stuff.
The Tower of Babel, right? You're building it with the assumption that you're going to get to heaven.
I assume that's what the tower was, yeah.
That's
Or
what the whole story is,
he was
right?
trying to climb to meet an angel or meet God.
Well, that's how the Bible tells it. It's a tower going to heaven,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I mean, you also have Jacob's ladder, too, before that. So.
And then you have... Now, here's my thing. God knows where heaven's at. He knows the atmospheric pressure of the sky. He knows the gravity levels of space and everything else. These humans who are trying to build a tower to go to heaven do not know it just yet. He knocks it down to stop them from getting to heaven. But at some point, they would have started not being able to breathe, getting that high. They would have not been able to...
we're doing it again. So, like, history does repeat itself.
Yeah, I mean, of course. But it's like, you knock down this tower. These people are just humans who don't understand yet all this stuff. So it's kind of like...
And I'm sure God knocked it down because, you know, like, if you're trying to meet me, why are you doing it in an extremely evil way to come meet me?
Yeah.
You got to steal demons in your step
That part makes
tower.
sense. I get that. But it's like, eventually they would have all died anyway because they would have lost air and would have passed out and fell off the tower.
True. Well, I mean, it is the same time period where they found, like, the Roman soldiers' lamb's bladder they used to rebreathe underwater. So... They could have been like, is space like water and we use this lamb's bladder to breathe through?
They would have been walking up the damn tower with whatever you just said, breathing in.
Basically.
Like the frickin' Star Wars Phantom Menace with the... No.
It looks like a leather bag is what it looked like, but...
They pressurized and everything else, they would eventually have died.
True.
So for me...
If anything, it gets so cold, frost on their face, you know, and the bladder gets attached, they can't rip it off.
You know what I mean? Or, you know, gravity takes
your arm gets frozen completely, and then you do something and it breaks off. Floats away from you.
Hey, I got to the top of the tower, I'm out of the atmosphere, and then, you know, I hit space with no gravity, and now you're just, whee! Like, I don't know. Maybe that's a story for a different day. I don't know. But it's just kind of like...
They're doing it now again. In Japan's doing it. This giant, like, world's longest, some kind of unbreakable cable. And it's the same purpose. Yeah, it's supposed to go from moon to Earth. Space being in the middle.
It's a whole lot of stupidity behind that. I don't even want to question. So what, are you going to get on a spaceship and fly to the moon?
It's kind of like an elevator on a cable.
And take a big-ass bolt and punch it into the moon and say, hey, we're good over here. What happens if an asteroid hits it and then shoots traffic off?
They could just hit the cable and it slices the spaceship in half, you know? Oh, shit, we missed the space cable.
We've lost 5 satellites this month due to the cable going to the moon.
And then they have to invent a 9-way radio to speak to each other. We just bolted in the anchors. We're good to go.
That doesn't make any sense.
You know, and it takes a month for that message to come back to Earth. We finally got your message. All right, we'll anchor our anchors on this side. A month later, they hear it back
solo
again.
cups?
I mean, I'm trying to make it sound like
a string long enough?
3-way radio, you know what I mean?
What was that?
It does take a month or more for it to travel.
That's a dumb idea.
Yep.
That's stupid.
Hey, kids.
But anyway.
Read your popular science magazines.
Read the Bible. Read something. But I don't know. Like, for me, I needed more information about the chapters. More information. Because, like, if you're just a normal viewer and you don't know what the hell the 13 chapters are or Solomon or any of that stuff.
It might not pique your interest as much as it did ours.
You're really lost.
Yeah.
You're not giving the viewers enough.
So, I mean, and yes, I gave it an 8.2, but, like, my top 2 that gets a 9.5 or a 10 out of 1 to 10 would be, like, the first Poltergeist and the original Amityville Horror. They're really old, but they're using the same premise on foreshadowing and scene buildup, where they like would hone in on a specific phenomenon, showcase it in the scene, use it with foreshadowing leading into the next scene, and smooth transition throughout. And they're really old. Like,
I don't know.
What, Poltergeist is 88, 89. Amityville was like on the cusp of 81, 82.
I did see the original Poltergeist, and I was forced to watch that when I was a kid.
Caroline, go into the light.
And that definitely like weirded me out as a kid. But as an adult, I haven't. Maybe I need to go back and rewatch it as an adult.
The first two, especially that. So the phenomenon we were talking about with someone else we're doing projects with, the phenomenon behind the top hat man is in the second Poltergeist. So
yeah, but I don't know. I give it a 6.5 because of the fact that it did have cool cinematic visions. It had cool scenes in it. It had some what the hell moments. It had some scenes I didn't see coming, as far as like they changed it up from every other movie. So I applaud it for that. The head coming off situation was definitely something I could not have seen coming in a million years. So I applaud it for that. But I was left with a lot of questions. And there's a lot of movies out there that always ends and you're like, really?
Did it have to end that way?
Like, that's it?
Well, I mean, that could have been their intent too. And maybe they were feeling like they should have made another one and didn't.
Yeah, like let's have a second one where the dude like just rampage going through and just destroying everything.
Yeah, what happens after Peter's completely possessed
by
But
at the same time, it's kind of cool because it leaves the imagination to the human.
It leaves you wanting more, yeah.
So it's kind of cool how they did that. But at the same time, it's like I needed to know more so that way I had more of an imagination after the end.
I mean, I'll give it this. So, like, I think Max, the streaming service, is $9 or $12 a month. And you can see it through that. It's on there. Or brand new on Blu-ray, I think it's $15.
I don't know. Anytime we do these, I go out and get the movie just so I can add it to my collection, but also because, I like physical copies over digital. And, any of the scenes that we do, it's straight from that. So, I don't 6.5 out of 10,
That's fair. It's slightly above midway.
It's better than what I gave The Shining.
Yeah, that sucks. So, The Shining was amazing, man. You're a weirdo. You're a weirdo. The Shining had a lot of great foreshadowing and mess with your mind. It was just like the level of psyche. How could I break you mentally? That was its purpose. So
I'm not going to get back into all that.
The breakdown in the character's mind.
We already did our video on that, and I'm going to go back into a rant on it. But, we finally did Hereditary. I finally watched it with you.
So now we have to top it with Phenomenons.
You've only been bugging me forever on it. We have a couple more movies we picked out. We'll probably do another social media Facebook poll in the future, put some more movies up for you guys to pick from. I don't know exactly when. We're gonna try and at least maybe once a month or something, do a movie, or maybe more if we can. Like I said, we're trying to get more content back out to you guys.
Maybe do one for June, because we just had like a bunch of people join our group. So
yeah, we definitely want to get everybody's input. If there's a movie that you guys want us to do, definitely put it into the Facebook group. Core Shadowsabound is the YouTube channel. It's the same thing as Facebook. If you haven't been on there yet, we can talk more in depth on there. You can reach out to us personally through Messenger if you have questions or you have issues going on in life, or just want to chit chat, whatever. That's the best way to reach out to us is the Facebook group. And we'll try and put more of these videos up as far as just having fun. It's the way we get to kick back and chill, and have a little bit more of a lighter side of things, not so always
showcase our
serious. Yeah, we get to be a little bit more nerdy with these. But yeah, that was fun to watch Hereditary. Alex said 6.5 out of 10.
Maybe in the comments, suggest to us, based
New
on
stuff.
phenomenon or experiences in the film, what's new that can top this one? What's old that's better than Shining for him?
Yeah, there's a lot of movies I haven't seen, so definitely comment things you might.
I mean, there is some I haven't seen, so it's like I have not seen everything.
Probably not many. I would maybe like 5 out there in the world.
Like maybe there's a real good film based on alien phenomenon. Put in the comments. Well, that leads me to say, okay, fine. Greg hasn't seen The Fourth Kind.
Yes, I have.
Really?
Actually, I've seen that one. Yeah.
Did you get any goosebumps watching any of the scenes in the film?
I got a few, but it's been a long time since I've seen it, so I might take another crack at it. But
It's based on the missing
we've
411
got other
Anchorage,
movies
Alaska.
that are sitting around that we could review that I haven't seen.
Hell yeah.
So,
Hell yeah.
but anyway, that's kind of our review, our take of the movie, our rundown of it. If we spoiled anything, which we pretty much told you the whole movie and the premises.
We apologize. It's been out for a while.
I don't
gave you the
apologize.
warning in the beginning, though.
I don't apologize. He might. I don't.
Yeah, I'm apologetic. Gives you more reason to go see it, or buy it, or get it on Max.
But also, comment down below what you liked about the movie, what you didn't like.
Yeah, what do you agree with
your
this
take
with?
of it.
What do you disagree?
But we're going to go ahead and end this video, and we will try and figure out the next movie. We'll, again, put it in the Facebook group, so please join if you haven't done. Again, please like the video, please comment down below, and please subscribe if you haven't. It helps us grow. We're trying to, I think we're a little under 400 people right now. We're on the road to 500, so to help out and mean a lot to us. But we do appreciate the support and everything you guys have done so far.
Don't forget, you like the video, share it, pass it around.
Yeah, but we're going to go ahead and head out, and we had fun making the video with you, and we will see you on the next review.
The next review, guys.
The next review.
Was like adding more walnuts to it, and she's over there going,
You're worried way too much about this cake.